I should say the things have changed in some ways.
Who is the determinant of the public interest?
The more time people spend in digital worlds, the more of our lives we live there.
Intercoin, bringing power to the people.
One of the biggest problems we have in our civilization is the centralization of power and the concentration of wealth in fewer hands. And so I started to dig into the causes of that and mechanisms that were used to create that situation. And I soon discovered that it was the system of money that is the keystone in the arch of power, both economic, political, financial, and every other aspect of power that you can name. And so I started digging very deeply into the money system, what is comprised of the money system, and how it works or doesn't work, basically how it malfunctions and misallocates credit and appropriates wealth and shifts power upward to those who control money. So that, in a nutshell, is the way I came to work with exchange alternatives, because I realized that the function of money, we're taught that money is three things: medium of exchange, a measure of value, and a store of value. Well, that is total hogwash. If you're talking about a gold or silver coin, yes, it might serve all those functions, but ultimately, the only real mechanism, the only real basis for an exchange of value is credit. And even when we had the gold standard, most of our exchange media were in the form of paper banknotes or bank deposits, and that's still the case. Increasingly, it's bank deposits rather than notes. And so we've allocated to banks the power to allocate credit on a prefatory basis. So banks get to decide who gets credit, who gets to create exchange media. As far as the measure of value is concerned, we need to measure value in terms of something concrete and real. And that's why we had the gold standard or the silver standard when the United States was first founded. The original definition of a US dollar was 371 1/4 grains of fine silver. Now, that was never implemented as a coin, but later on we shifted over to gold as the measure of value. And for a long time, gold was valued at $22 an ounce. In other words, the US dollar was valued at that fraction of an ounce of gold, 1/22nd of an ounce of gold. And later, during the Great Depression, Franklin Roosevelt raised that to $35 an ounce after calling in all the gold. And so basically, it was a devaluation of the dollar from 1/22nd of an ounce of gold to 1/35th of an ounce of gold. And then ultimately, Nixon closed the gold window and said, even in international settlements, the dollar will no longer be convertible into gold. So we have a pure fiat standard now, where we have two meanings of the dollar. The dollar is both the currency and the measure of value, which is a ridiculous situation. So we need to get back to the separation of those functions. As far as the savings function is concerned, we don't keep our wealth in terms of demand deposits in a bank. We take those surplus funds that we have in dollars and we invest them either in stocks or bonds or real estate or some other long-term asset or claim on value. So that, in a nutshell, is where I arrived at and where I came from with this. So I long ago gave up on any attempt to reform the money system. There are a lot of famous quotes about how much power goes along with the power to create money. The father of the Rothschild dynasty said, "Give me the power to create a nation's money, and I care not who makes its laws." And that basically is the situation.
Like to be the first to hear about Intercoin's roadmap and news? Definitely join and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to click that little notification button so you can get updates when the next video drops and the next time we interview a legend like Noam Chomsky or Patrick Friedman. And if you would like to participate in the conversation, go to community.intercoin.app. We'd love to hear from you and about your community. This is what the project is all about. Intercoin, bringing power to the people.